Mr. Bill Murray, how you see nowadays the relationship between coffee exporters in Brazil and coffee importers in U.S. is a good relationship after the discussion of tariffs?
Yeah, I think it's a very good relationship. You know, sometimes in relationships, when situations are not easy, it brings people together. You have a choice when things are difficult. You can argue or you can work together to find solutions. And so right now, I think the relationship is very good because of the situation with tariffs overall, yes.
And how is the discussion about instant coffee, to put instant coffee in the list of exceptions in the...
Well, this is something that we think is very, very important. We have exceptions right now, of course, for green coffee, for roasted coffee, for decaffeinated coffee. And we think there are very important arguments for making instant coffee an exceptional also. Most people in America who drink instant coffee, they are people who are very concerned about their economic situation. So if you make instant coffee more expensive, it makes it more difficult for Americans to have that coffee. Instant coffee is also an industrial input into ready-to-drink beverages into different types of formulations. So we need our manufacturing. So I think it's very clear that there should be an exemption for instant coffee.
Are you optimistic to this inclusion?
You know, I am realistic. I am never optimistic or pessimistic. I think there's recognition of the importance of instant coffee. There's a good understanding how critical this is to the industry. So because of that, right now, I'm happy that the situation is being realized, and we will see what happens.
What is the main argument to put instant coffee in this list of exceptions?
Americans love coffee, they need coffee, and instant coffee is an important part of the coffee industry in America.
Even after the list of exception, the exports, the coffee exports from Brazil to US decreased according to café data.
Yeah.
Do you believe that exports will increase again to the level pre-tariffs?
I believe they will, yes. I hear very optimistic things about the size of the next crop that is coming. And if we see an increase in the amount of Brazil's wonderful coffee, we will see more exports, especially with the tariff situation, if it continues.
You were talking about consumer education, and you said, and I got impressed. The consumer don't know about Brazilian coffee in U.S. So you can tell to Brazilians and to eventually to Americans what's the importance, what's the meaning of Brazilian coffee in the blends and in the business and in the America coffee market.
Without Brazilian coffee, there would be no American coffee market. We cannot survive without Brazilian coffee. It is high quality coffee at a good price, and that's essential for every coffee company in the U.S.
And what will be the consequence to American consumer about doesn't have Brazilian coffee in the blends in America?
We would see price increases and less available coffee. This would not be good. 73% of Americans drink coffee. They cannot work every day without their coffee. They can live without their coffee. So we need Brazilian coffee.
And what about the investigation of Section 301? How are these discussions, and what are the additional arguments NCA and CCAFE are presenting to American technicals and American authorities, considering that is a political side and a technical side in this discussion?
Well, as you know, as you mentioned, we have exemptions right now. So the arguments we're making are consistent with the arguments that got us the exemptions last year. That is, tariffs will make coffee cost more, it will hurt inflation, it will hurt consumers, and we don't grow coffee in America, except for a little bit in Hawaii and Puerto Rico. So the arguments that were in favor of the exemptions in the first place are still important and valid, and we are re-emphasizing those arguments.
And talk about the partnership between NCA and CCAFE to promote the Brazilian coffee in America is a good partnership, is a good relation, as we can see.
It is an excellent relationship. I can't say enough good things about our work with Sea Cafe. They have been partners. We have been working as if we are joined together, as if we are brothers, and we could not be happier, and we're grateful for our partnership with them.
And what's the meaning of this integration between the private sector and the public sector and governments to make a consistent arguments, to give consistent arguments against commercial barriers, economic barriers, and to promote better the Brazilian coffee in America?
Well, we believe in transparency. We believe in honesty and information. And so the crucial thing is regulators, they don't have the information they need about coffee. They do not understand coffee. They have to regulate every single sector of the economy. So our job is to get them honest information, accurate information, help them understand why commercial barriers hurt consumers, hurt business, hurt tax revenue. And that's what's crucial for us to get our job done.